Ladies and gentlemen, it is your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, and here I'm going to go through a bunch of the things that I picked up at Surugaya. We're going to talk about labels, condition, all sorts of things in terms of just what you can expect when you buy something from Surugaya. Now, here we have Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Not a super exciting game, but this is the one that sort of was like your sort of base expectation of Surugaya if everything is normal. Now, looking at the label, if you watched my label reading video previously, and you can also check out my website to see what all these particular things mean. But this is sort of, there should be nothing wrong with this, but we got to find out for ourselves. It should be relatively easy to open. You know, the thing is, this is a bit difficult. Normally this would just be in like a slip cover almost. Yeah, so now there's nothing on the label that says that there's anything we need to worry about. And looking at it, because it's a PlayStation 4 game, like we're not even going to really expect a manual of anything, although we do have some cool inserts. The disc should not be scratched. Looking at it now, looks fine to me. There's like one, no, that's a hair. I thought it was a scratch. It's a hair. Oh, and look at that cool. Oh man, that's so cool. Yep, all right, so looks good to me. This is what you can expect from a base level game. Of course, I can't show you what, actually no, I can, hold on. So here we've got what you can expect to be a regular condition game at Surugaya. I notice here's a little streak here. There's the label, or the cover itself looks all right. Looking at don't worry about the label or the price stickers or anything. Those come off quite easily. Yeah. Everything looks fine to me, except for this. I mean, you know, if this was at like a Mandarake, this would be like a C grade game. But at Surugaya, it's just normal. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you a couple of things I have been burned on, actually. The first big one is this copy of Kirby's Air Ride. Now, Kirby's Air Ride is anywhere from a $50 to an $80 game, depending on where you pick it up. I bought this. I thought I was getting an amazing deal of finding it for like $45. I thought, holy shit. And what I need to express to you is I've actually already opened this up to take a look at it. But I did keep the original packaging. This is how it was sold to me. And I thought, wow, I'm getting a great deal. I didn't see anything normally when there's something wrong with a game, when it has some kind of damage to the disc, either scratches or it's got an issue with the manual. It will have a label somewhere on here, sometimes in like a yellow bordered or a green bordered sticker. This did not have that. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if this has just been processed incorrectly, but and I have a lot of experience buying stuff in Japan from game stores. And if this could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. So I'm just going to tell everyone to exercise some caution when picking up games from Surugaya, although I think that just applies really to everything, particularly when you're talking about what is a relatively expensive game for the GameCube. Now, what I should have read, what I was a fool, was if you look on the label here, you see right here, it's the GameCube. It's the racing genre. Now, here we have the title, Kabi no Air Ride, Kirby's Air Ride. Now to the left, it says disc problem. Technically it's like a difficult condition is, I guess, the literal translation, but really it just means that there's a problem with the disc. So what we're going to do is we're going to unpack this and we'll see what they consider to be a problem with the disc. And actually, I've actually already cleaned up the disc. And that's something that maybe I can get into specifically. Now, this would, in Mandarake, this would definitely be a C grade game, if they would even sell it at all. Now let's just inspect the cover. This is the normal slip cover case, whatever that you would expect from a GameCube game. Yeah, notice the edge wear there. It's actually not terrible. I've definitely seen a worse condition Kirby Air Ride cases go for a lot more. So we've got the case there. Let's put that aside. Here we've got the clamshell. Now, looking at the condition of the manual, yeah, this is definitely, again, this is like a C grade level manual. Well, maybe a B. It's not got any obvious bends or folds. A little little bend there, but that's fine. It's like it's not this. This stuff isn't the stuff that I mind. I don't care so much about that. But let's look at the disc. Now, what was interesting to me was one, this disc was actually in a much worse condition when I picked it up. It had very obviously, when this had been traded in, it had not been cleaned. They hadn't done much of anything with it. Now, I don't know why they would have done that. If you look at it, it's not terrible. I need to say that this is not terrible. This has been tested. They would not have put it out on the show floor without having tested it. So I'm not concerned about it actually working or not, but the scratches, see, you can see there on the left over here, this is like in Japan. Now, I'm used to American games you would pick up at GameStop. I'm the games you used to rent from Blockbuster back in the day, I'm used to them being trash garbage and having scratches everywhere. This comes nowhere near what you would say is the average quality, average condition of a game in America. But in Japan, this is trash garbage. This is like all kinds of scuffed up, relatively speaking. Now, I am very disappointed that Surugaya did not make that more explicit on the cover. Yes, I take full responsibility for this because I should have been more thorough with the label. And when you're spending $50 on a retro game, you should probably take a look at it yourself. It's 100% my fault, but I do feel that Surugaya could perhaps taken a little bit of an extra step and have actually, made it more evident to actually have done that, because I feel like there would be a lot of people out there who would come to Japan, not have that high of an expertise in actually picking this up, and would have faced the same issues as I did. So that's a cause for concern. But again, I'm not trying to get people to not go to Surugaya. However, just be very careful. The same goes for this. Now this game I actually picked up at the Surugaya Akihabara Ekimae store, the Surugaya that is right in front of Akihabara Station. Now the next game we're going to look at is, and this is actually the game that I featured in my label reading video. This is Capcom versus SNK2, one of the best soundtracks of any game, any fighting game out there. Now, what I need to note is that this does have the spine cover, and this was not labeled as having any problems. I've not opened this. I don't know what we can expect in here, but this is being sold as good, or I guess, I don't want to say like fine condition, but as in like full condition, if that makes any sense, whereas this is not supposed to have any defects. I should note that I am not 100% positive. You can already see inside the packaging that the jewel case has these two massive cracks. Now, things are going to happen when you put your stuff into your bags. This has already gone across international travel. This has gone across several oceans in order to get to where I am today outside of Japan. Now, it is entirely possible that despite the careful way that I packaged this inside of my bags, where it was within a box, within boxes, within my overall carry-on bag that had been properly insulated and stuffed, something may have happened. But I'm also guessing that, for one, I wasn't paying close enough attention. So again, I blame myself for this. But for two, the Surugaya that I bought this from, which is the main video game shop that's on a side street in Akihabara, it's very, very dark there, so it can be very hard to see. But then again, I actually saved a few bucks buying it there. That's why I bought it from Akihabara. This is not a very hard to find game. So let me open it up so that I can show you what I'm talking about. See here, we've got the nice easy open. Well, I thought it was gonna be easier than this, actually. Wow, that really sticks on. They really do not want you to open this. And again, something that I do need to state is that you can very easily take this up to the register and ask to check the condition. But I would have marked this jewel case as having something wrong. So here we've got the obi. This is the spine cover that I keep talking about. This comes with, or this, if you want to count your game as complete, comes with every CD-based game. So I'm talking Mega CD, PC Engine CD, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, all those, not counting the DVDs. You will not get a spine cover with these games, or even GameCube games, really. It is with these sort of jewel case CD-based games that you can expect there to be an obi. Now, Surugaya does not change its price based on whether or not it has the obi. As far as I can tell, I have a couple of pictures of games where I compare a game with the obi and without the obi. it's the same price. So let's open this up. This would, I mean, this alone would have downgraded this in a trader or in particularly in a Mandarake. Now, I mean, it's just a regular CD jewel case cover, so it's very easy to replace if you're concerned about that. I mean, that's probably, yeah, not worth that much money to get another jewel case cover. Looking at the manual here, I can't tell if that's like discoloration there or if that's just the original art. Look at there. Oh wow, we even got the that's cool. No, like, oh man, yeah, I love these cool inserts. What is this? Oh, it's an internet survey about your Capcom game. Little play style. Oh, I guess it's like an addendum. Let's see. Oh, they edited. So they apparently did some misprints. Let's see, like for Guile here, they apparently misprinted his move, and then here's so this is the misprint, the original that's in the manual, and here's the actual the move is actually supposed to be. That's crazy. Wow, I've never seen that. I've never seen a correction issued in a manual before. I love this artwork, man. This is like I think of all of the like Street Fighter, Capcom, fighting game artwork that's out there. This is probably like my favorite style. I really need to figure out who this artist is. Now let's look at the disc. Let's see, is it going to be scratched? Looking at it, no. This disc is in perfect condition. There's maybe something there. I don't know if that's just some loose. Yeah, I think there's some dust in the air. So actually very quickly, I'm going to put this back down. But I'm actually very impressed by that disc and not a scratch on it. Really, really cool. So besides the damage to the jewel case, which look, it's cosmetic, it's not that big of a deal. And it also came with the obi. I'm not going to be super complaining about this. Also, the way, maybe someone can tell me differently, this is the way I like to store my obis, because obviously you don't want it. Once you've opened up that plastic seal, there's no point in having the obi on this anymore. Otherwise, it's just going to get loose or it's going to be exposed to the humidity. You're just going to run into a whole lot of problems. So I like to store it inside the jewel case with the manual. Now, I'm not going to complain about Surugaya anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to look at something very special, and it's something you can do if you actually have some experience and knowledge, particularly how hardware goes. Now, this was sold as junk. Actually, let's see. Hopefully, maybe I can get there we go. Yeah, zoom out a little bit. See, can I change it? There we go. All right. Okay, so here we have a PC Engine Duo R. Now, this is a very difficult to find console in Akihabara. This is something that easily goes for $50, goes for maybe it's like $400 plus. Not in this condition. This is actually junk condition, basically. So here's the deal. Here is the controller. You can tell the obviously yellowing discoloration. Also got the AV cables, which are like very dirty, something I got to clean up so that I can restore these. And then we've also got the power brick right here. And this power brick is actually unique to the Duo R. Although I think it might share it with the RX. I'm not 100% sure about that. And I believe there's actually two different Duo R power adapters. Now, why did I pick this up? I actually already have two other Duo Rs. Well, that's because here is the original label. This is the bag it was sold in. That's because it cost $25. I bought all of this. I actually was in it really just for the power brick because I actually don't have a power brick for one of my Duo Rs. And the power brick alone, I was seeing in Akihabara for $35. Now, why were they selling this $400 system for $25? Why were they selling it that way? Well, for one, it's actually because it's not in that great of a condition. You can see here, you've got this streak here, which I'm actually not sure if it's almost as if you would have thought that it might have carved into it, but it seems like it's actually raised on the thing. So I don't know if you can see that. That's actually something that I believe I can clean off. Yeah, look at all these scratches, these dings. It's not in unsellable condition if it was sold as working, but it is really beat up. It's discolored, but let me bring back the label here. Oh, and yeah, you can see like this PC Engine controller, like look at it, it's so yellowed. either, I don't want to say it was in a smoking household. I think that's a different discoloration. It could just be what happens to the plastic and what will happen to most of these white plastics. This is supposed to be like basically white, like a sort of off grayish white. That's what this was originally all supposed to look like. So looking here, what does this say? Well, for one, it says it does not read CDs. Now that is a super common problem with the original PC Engine Duo, the Turbo Duo. That's because the original Turbo Duo was plagued by bad capacitors. You had a lot of capacitors back in the surface mount capacitors of the early 90s that were of really poor quality and ended up giving out to the point where they would start leaking their capacitor fluid onto the board and not only not function as capacitors anymore, but also do damage to the electrical components that were inside the system. The Duo R does not have that much of a problem with their capacitors, although eventually all capacitors will give out at some point, so maybe that was the problem. However, what was interesting to me was it says, again here, does not read CDs. No, actually, you know what? Interesting. So, okay, there's two ways to read this. It says CD soft ugokimasen. I'm going to take that as non-literally because literally it means that CD software does not move, but I believe what that means is that it just does not read the disks. So it could be a number of things. It could be capacitors, could be bad capacitors. It could be a problem with the laser, which also happens quite frequently on most laser-based systems. What was interesting to me was that it says here, it does read cue cards. So that means at the very least, and I can't believe this stuck around for as long as it did because it's $25, even if the CD system doesn't work, you still got a fully functional PC engine that can read hue cards for $25. Like Core Graphics easily go for $75 plus. Yes, it's in not that great of a condition. You got the obvious markings. Let's open it up. But there's nothing in like, oh yeah, especially when you look in here, they basically just took this in, gave someone like $5 and then told them to get the hell out because this is like, yeah, it's in really rough shape, really something I want to go in and clean. But. So first thing I did was I tested the hue card reader using some of the PC Engine games that I have. No issue, played all the games absolutely fine. But then what happened, actually, yeah, so what happened was, I popped in a couple games here. I popped in Rondo of Blood to test it out, see what would happen. Yeah, it wouldn't read them at first. But what was interesting to me was the laser wasn't moving at all. Now that could be, so when there's an issue with the laser on any CD reading system, that could be for a number of reasons. It could be the laser itself is bad. Lasers just wear out over time. It could be the motor is having a problem. But what I believe happened with this system is that there was an issue with the lid cover here. I think something had happened was a wire, because there's actually a bunch of wires in here that connect the laser to the drive or the drive itself to the motherboard. They actually somehow, I don't know what happened, but something I believe was blocking this. Oh man, hold on, sorry. Yeah, so you see this thing here? To actually detect that the lid is closed, this little spike here actually goes into this hole and it touches a little button or sensor that's attached to the motherboard, and that tells the motherboard that this is actually closed and it's okay for the CD to start spinning up. Because if you leave it just open like this, and there's a way you can actually, if you put something in here and let the thing start spinning, like it's moving so fast that it doesn't actually grab. You need this top part here to actually grab the CD so that it can actually be read properly. So that's why if you have it open, you can actually end up messing up your disks, because this just keeps on spinning round, and can scratch up the interior of your disk. Although not the data part, so you'll be fine with that, I hope. But what had happened was I think something on their motherboard, a wire, had actually gotten in the way and was actually saying that the drive was not closing properly, which means that I was actually able to, I played a bunch of Rondo of Blood. I played a bunch of another couple CD games that I had on hand to actually test out the system, and I had no issues. So I ended up buying for $25 what is hopefully a completely working PC Engine Duo R. Now, yes, it's not in the best condition, and I still need to do a couple of other tests to make sure that it's not some faulty capacitors, because the capacitors in this will need to be replaced at some point. But what is the whole point of this? What I'm trying to say is that, yes, in the case of a broken jewel case or a CD that is more scratched than the average disc in Japan, is that, yes, you can sometimes get rolled of your own fault or of the store's fault, mostly my own fault in this case, by a particular video game shop. But in Surugaya's case, because Surugaya it's a general retailer, it's not really that much of a specialist shop. So they're counting on volume in terms of sales. That means, like with this junk, they're not going to pay an expert to come in and open up this case, check around, and actually try and repair the system. They're just going to take it in, slap a $25 price tag on it, and put it out on the show floor. Hope some foreign sucker like me comes in and buys it. But that also means that they don't know what they have on their hands, and that means that you can take advantage of this system and save I want to say $400 on a really cool PC Engine. Actually, what I want to do with this, if you've been watching this, we're now 20 minutes in, and now I can just yap about what I want to do this, if you're interested, is I want to actually take off I want to paint, because this is so messed up. I actually want to paint this, and I want to make a custom PC Engine Duo R. I've never actually seen anyone do that before, but I thought it would be really cool to do that and make this into something very cool. Actually, because the controller is so messed up, maybe even do the same thing here. Yeah, actually, I don't think the screws on this are very special, so I don't need any special tools to actually end up doing this. Actually, no, these are actually star bits on this. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my God. That's what makes this particularly hard, is you need special equipment to open this, but you would expect them to have that at a Surugaya. But again, they just don't have the expertise, and they don't, I think, on a corporate level, have the willingness to actually repair systems that come in. So if they get in junk, either they reject it or they just try and flip it around as quickly as possible for as cheaply as possible. So that's my rant about Surugaya. If you have any questions about Surugaya or any other Japanese video game store, do not hesitate to leave me a note in the comments. I love answering questions. I love informing people about what's going on in Japanese video game collecting, particularly about how you pick up games in Japan. Before I can continue rambling, I'm going to end it here. I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, saying thanks for watching. See you next time, and mahalo.